to our 30 Days Italian for Beginners with Dolce Vita. My name is Luca. I'm your Italian teacher, and with me, I have the pleasure to have.
How much Italian can you learn in 30 days? Turns out it's heaps. Tantissimo. So, you want to learn Italian and don't know where to start. Ciao studenti e benvenuti. Welcome to the first official lesson for this 30-day beginner series to help you learn Italian. My name is Manu Venditti and I'm the founder of Italy Made Easy, where we help people like you become fluent in Italian. Now, before we get started, this is lesson 1, but we had a very important introductory video that I assume that you have watched. So before you start, make sure that you watch that one. And today's topic is Italian easy? We're going to start a little easy, and we're just going to discuss why you will manage to learn Italian. I hope all the way to fluency, but no matter what level you want to reach, is Italian an easy language? It happens to be a category 1 language, meaning it's languages. And they estimated that it would take it when it comes to sentence structure. And so this number might change between 50 to 70, depending on the fee you get those sounds right. So I said very similar, the word very, which is an adverb, and then the adjective. For example, you will learn that if you're trying to guess how would the word station be in Italian, well, you will have enough knowledge by the end of the series to know straight out of the box that the word is stazione. You will also know that it's a feminine word, la stazione, that means the station, and you will know that.
So you're getting ready for your next trip to Italy, but you don't know any word in Italian? Well, then you might want to watch this video. Ciao a tutti e benvenuti a un nuovo video. My name is Stefano and I am an Italian teacher. In today's video, we're going to talk about 25 words and sentences you absolutely need if you're coming to Italy. Alright, now it's time to get started with the first expressions of today. Greetings. Now, I've actually already uploaded a video about greetings, so you might want to go check that one first. So let's move on to the second expression of today. Grazie.
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 I'm sure that you know this word already, as it's very popular around the world, but just make sure you get the pronunciation right. It's grazie.
Grazie.
Grazie. I want to hear that final E. Grazie.
Grazie.
Now, grazie is very simple and it just means thank you. But if you want to be super nice, you could also say grazie mille.
Grazie mille.
That simply means thank you very much. Now, if someone says grazie to you, you might want to respond using prego. Prego. You're welcome. Now, prego has actually a lot of different meanings. So the first one is you're welcome, but it also means go ahead. So for example, if you're talking to someone and you want them to express their opinion or ask a question, you could say, go ahead, prego, prego. You might also use it, for example, at the supermarket, at the entrance, where maybe there is an old lady or an old man close to you and you want them to get into the store first. So you say, prego, prego, go ahead. Last but not least, prego is also used when you are saying come in. So for example, if a friend knocks on your door and you want them to come in, you could say prego, prego, like come in. Now let's talk about scusa. Scusa. Scusa means both sorry and excuse me. So we can use it both to apologize to someone, but also to get someone's attention. Now remember that scusa is informal, okay? That is very important. If you want to use the formal version, you're going to say scusi. Scusi. So you would use scusa with your friends, your family, people you know well, or eventually people your age, and scusi when you are in a formal setting.
Per favore,
for example,
per piacere.
Work, a university, or scusi, prendo un caffè per piacere. That's a very useful sentence. Write it down. And now, one of the most important expressions you need to memorize. Come ti chiami? Come ti chiami? Come ti chiami?
Mi chiamo Beata.
Important sentence. And you say something like, scusi, prendo un caffè per favore. Or, scusi, prendo un caffè per piacere. That's a very useful sentence. Write it down. And now, one of the most important expressions you need to memorize. Come ti chiami? Come ti chiami? Come ti chiami? Well, you want to get to know people in Italy, so you want to ask for their name. And come ti chiami simply means, what's your name? And how would you respond to that? Well, it's very easy. Mi chiamo Stefano. Mi chiamo Stefano. So, mi chiamo plus your name. And what if you want to ask something like, how are you? Well, that's very easy as well. Come stai?
Come stai?
Come
Sto.
the final I. And say, come sta? Come sta? Now
Sto
let me
bene,
give you a
grazie.
few
E
ways
tu?
to respond
Sto
to
benissimo,
come
grazie.
stai. Sto
Ok,
al
ci sono
same thing that you
riuscita.
do in English with the expression how is it
Va
going.
tutto
One
bene,
way to
grazie.
is dove plus a place. Dove.
Dove vai?
Dove. Is your Italian with native speakers. But most of the time you would use this expression to ask things like dove il bagno? Dove il bagno? So let's say for example the place you want to go to. Now let's talk about money. Quanto costa?
Quanto costa?
Quanto costa? We also use another expression for this.
Il costa.
That is quante. Quante. Quante is very common to use when you're asking for the total amount of money that you need to pay for your items. But if you just want to ask the specific price of an item, then you're going to say quanto costa? Quanto costa? Of course, an Italian is going to get back to you with numbers. So if you don't know numbers, you want to make sure you study them right away. I know numbers are kind of a pain, but knowing numbers when you go to a store, want to buy that amazing arancino that is staring at you. Well, in that case, you can just say, mi può dare un arancino? Mi può dare un arancino? Now,
Mi
if you don't
può
know
dare
how to pronounce or if you don't know the name of the item you want to buy,
Mi può
you
dare.
can just say, mi può dare quello? Mi può dare quello? And just point your finger at the
Mi
item.
può
If you want to be
dare
nice, you can
quello.
also add per favore or
Per
per
favore.
piacere to this specific expression. But if you are in a restaurant and you want to
Mi
order
può
food,
perro.
well, it's very easy. You can use the word vorrei. Vorrei. Now, vorrei means I would like. So you could say vorrei una lasagna. Grazie. Vorrei una lasagna.
Vorrei
Grazie.
una lasagna.
Or
Grazie.
you could use the expression prendo. Prendo. Well, prendo means I'll have. Literally, I take. For example, in Italy, we don't really get or have coffees. We actually take them. So in a bar, I would say something like prendo un caffè, grazie. Prendo un caffè, grazie. Now
Prendo
let's say
un
you're
caffè,
back at the
grazie.
restaurant and you want to ask for the check, the bill. What are you going to say then? Very easy.
Ci-
You're going to say,
può
ci può
portare.
portare il conto?
Oh,
Ci può portare
ci
il
può
conto?
portare il
Now,
conto.
what if you want
Ci
to
può
ask where a
contare.
person is from? You're going to say, di dove sei? Di dove
Di dove
sei?
sei?
Where are you from? And how do you answer to that question? You have two options. You either say, sono di plus the city you are from. For example, sono di Roma. Sono di New York. Or sono plus the adjective of nationality. For example, I would say
Sono una
sono
polacca.
italiano. So what you might want to do is to go on Word Reference, my favorite online dictionary, and look for your adjective of nationality. Now remember that if the adjective of nationality you find ends in O, then if you are a man, you're gonna leave it as it is. But if you're a woman, you're gonna change that O into A. So for instance,
Scusami,
if
non
you are
parlo
an
molto
American
bene
man, you're going to
l'italiano.
say, but let me tell you something. Yes, you know a lot. So I hope you enjoyed this little
Vabbè.